Okay. Hello. Hi everyone. Welcome to the end of the month hangout. I hope the sound is good. I hope the volume is nice. I hope everything is fine. And welcome to my end of the month hangout. It is Sunday the 27th. And it's time to have a little hangout, isn't it? Talk about the month that has been and the month that is coming up. I think my last sort of hangout was after I released my last video, so nothing has really changed. So this is going to be a bit of an interesting hangout, but it'll be fun. First of all, you can see that I'm wearing this. I'm going to talk about what that is, but first I want to say hi to everyone who joined, who's joining in. Welcome to the monthly hangout where we just hang out and vibe for a bit. If you're new here, the way this works is there are no rules. We just hang out for a bit. We just have a little fun. And we try talking about the month that has been, and also the month that is coming up. And I do have a little bit regarding the month that is coming up, so that's good. But I also hope that you're all having a good time. I hope you're all having a nice, wholesome Sunday. I'm currently melting because Sweden is it's summer in Sweden, and I'm not built for it. It's been fun. So it's been big weather change. And outside of that, no, I'm doing okay. I'm currently working on my next video, which I've been doing for a while. Although very recently I had to take a bit of a break because if you don't follow me on Twitter, what has happened recently in my life is I broke my arm. Specifically, I have shattered my elbow, part of my elbow. It's not bad. It's not like anything dangerous. I don't even need a fucking cast. All I have to do is keep it in a sling. Not move it around too much, but I should still move it around enough for physical therapy. So I don't really know what the deal with that is. It hurts like nobody's business, and my entire arm is just swollen, which isn't great, to be honest. It's not super fun. And for timing reasons, I managed to do this the day before I was supposed to shoot the majority of my footage. So that obviously didn't happen because once I had to go to the hospital. I had to have my X-ray checked out. Plus, it's not fun to work when your arm is swollen and hurts because I can't really move my lamps or my camera, or like I can't move anything. Plus, always having some pain around makes it really hard to record. Like, it's kind of hard to record a video when you're just like in pain. And especially if you watch my videos, you can see that I talk a lot with my hands. So that's what I've been dealing with right now. So unfortunately, I had to postpone my video a full week. It was supposed to be released in 3 days on the 30th, at the very end of the month, which is usually when I release my videos. And usually when I'm sick or when I'm like having a weird mental episode or whatever, I'll delay my video like a day or two, never more than that. But because I had to spend the day that I was recording in the hospital, I had no idea how bad my arm was. So I've been forced for. I haven't been forced. I willingly decided to postpone my upcoming video a full week because I don't want to rush it. I probably could have made it if I had worked like yesterday and 2 days ago. If I had worked harder. But then I would have pushed myself. I would have to work through the pain, and I don't really want to do that. Like I kind of want to rest for a little bit. Still work, a little bit, like tiny bit. But it's not that great. But yeah, I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. I just, I have to be careful with my arm for a little bit. Thankfully, Swedish healthcare is pretty cheap. It cost me $25 to meet a nurse, then meet a doctor, then meet a person who did my X-ray, and to meet a physical therapist. So. But because of that, my video is going to be a bit delayed, and in a few scenes of it, I will be wearing the sling because I have to. Some scenes I don't, because I did shoot a couple of things before I broke my arm. But there are some, I still have some scenes that I have to record right now, and the work time I've been spending since I broke my arm has been slow, and also focus on things like, touching up the script and editing the shots that I already have, because I want to take it easy. At least it isn't last summer. Yeah, last summer was awful as well. How's the arm doing? It's going okay. And yes, the reason why I broke my arm was because I wasn't at the skate park, because I decided that I wanted to be really cool this summer and go skating, pick up skating as a hobby. No. But I hear it's a rite of passage in the skating community, in the rollerblade community, to break your arm at least once. So that's something good. God, I am sweltering here. Are you in pain now? Yes, I am. I take painkillers once every 2 hours. Because that's what my physical therapist told me to do. But yeah, still in pain. It's not that bad right now, but if I were to, for example, like lift it, this is a bit more pain. And if I can't really twist my arm at all. So I'm taking it easy. Thankfully, it's not even close to as bad as it used to be. Like a few days ago, it was way worse. But I really felt that I do need an extra week to work on it. Mia's getting swole. The thing is, I was just starting to go to the gym as well, because I'm fully vaccinated now as well. So I feel comfortable going to the gym again after like 2 years. And then I broke my arm, so now I can't do it. Italian mode. Talking with your hands is very un-Swedish. You're supposed to carry and hold a conversation with arms crossed and using only different intonation of the words. Fun. That's true, but I do think that's the part of that's the continental European in me, because my dad's Dutch, and I think I get that from him a little bit. Like the Dutch don't really speak with their hands either as much, but they do it way more than the Swedes do. It's also just I think that's something that you pick up just from being on YouTube for a while. Because if you don't know what to do with your hands, you just start talking with your hands a lot. It makes it feel better. If only I had more whey protein. Okay, but so the way that I usually do the stream is I try to keep with chat as much as I can, obviously. And if you do want to say something, obviously say something. I'll try to respond to what I can. But we're also going to reflect a little bit on the month that has been. So let's check how has the month been for the channel. Well, my last video, which is on great men and Elon Musk, did moderately well. Could have done better, but it did okay. It brought with me a couple of more subscribers, which I appreciate. A couple of more views. It's an okay video. I can't really complain about it. And my analytics for this month are going to be generally positive, despite the fact that I'm not releasing a video this month. I'm technically releasing 2 next month, because I'm not moving future video schedules a week either. I'm just moving the upcoming one. So that means I'm going to release a video in roughly a week, and then in roughly a month as well. So it's gonna be 2 videos out in July. So my analytics should be looking good then as well. Even though the YouTube tells me that, like, hey, why haven't you released the video? Why haven't you released the video? It's gonna tell me that soon, but that's just how it be. On the other hand, I think things have generally been okay. Twitter has been, like, I think a bit worse than usual. I don't know why. I think the heat is getting to people's brains, including mine, fully. I've also very much been affected by the fact that I have a broken arm. Like, I've had no patience in the last couple of days on Twitter. So that's just a hellscape, as it always been. Elsewhere though, like, not a lot of people have released videos this month, and I think that's part of the summer craze, right? Like, people don't really want to make videos in the summer because people want to go out and people want to have fun. So that's, as far as I know, no one's really released a video. I know that a few YouTubers are releasing videos soon, but I think that, like, there are only a few, I feel, who release videos every month anymore. And I feel like there are fewer still who release videos, like, every week at this point. Like, everyone, it feels like a large amount of people only release videos at rare intervals now. Rarer and rarer, which is fine. It's definitely something that I want to do as well, because it's fun. No, it's the reason why I release videos, like, every single month, usually, with few exceptions, without the exceptions for, like, health reasons, is because, like, you know, I need to get paid. And I need to grow the channel generally to get people to Patreon, because that pays my rent. But I also need to sort of, like, get sponsors out there, because that also helps pay a significant part of my like, rent. I feel like, though, like, in the long future, maybe if I manage to make an amount of money where it's, like, more than I need, and more that I would be comfortable with, I would probably also start taking, like, really long intervals between videos, so I can really, like, make them shine. But that's not how it is right now. Why am I talking about this? I don't know. Man was not meant to live in 31 degrees. Yeah, very much not. How do you feel about all the Dune sequels becoming increasingly reactionary as they go on? I don't feel great about it, but it's also one of those things that, like, you can interpret the Dune series in 2 ways, right? You can interpret it in a sort of, like, this is a story to learn from, which a lot of people do for some reason, and I don't like it, where people will see, for example, in the original Dune, like, Paul Atreides as the hero. He is the protagonist, but he's not the hero, which is a line I should have had in my video, because I only heard it after I made it. It's a very good line. You can read Dune as a sort of cautionary tale about charismatic leaders, and that's sort of the point that I wanted to have in my video as well. That it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be, like, inspirational. It's more supposed to be like, this is what could happen if charismatic leaders are in charge. But they can also be a result of, like, large historical forces but we shouldn't like attribute large historical forces to individuals, because then they will abuse it. They will use it to enrich themselves, and they will use it to lead whoever they lead into despair, basically. And there, like, so in the later books, for example, there's something called the golden path of humanity, which is this idea that humanity needs to be a certain way in order to like survive into the universe or just prosper. And for that to happen, for humanity to be put to the golden path, humanity also needs to be like ruthlessly oppressed for like multiple generations, and destroyed, and just very much oppressed, so that humanity will like rise out of that oppression and become like more liberty inspired and try to spread across the universe and not be ruled by charismatic leaders. Which is like, that's one way to interpret it. But the golden path of humanity only really makes sense if there is a need for humanity to do that. Which initially there's not really. Like, initially there's a sort of idea that like it's not great for humanity to be sort of stagnant and too comfortable. But it's not like a death sentence on humanity. Whereas in the later books, it does sort of become a sort of like, aliens will destroy humanity unless humanity spreads across the world because of robots or some shit. Like, it goes off the deep end really quick. And a lot of the themes that are set up in the first book by Frank Herbert and stuff like that quickly lose their meaning, which I don't love. Which is why I also wanted to focus on the initial book, because the initial book definitely has those themes set out more clearly. The second one I think does too. But then it sort of like devolves a little bit, and then, there's a reason why the first Dune is iconic and the rest ones are known to be weird. That's, I guess that would be my thing. Don't you have air conditioning? No, Sweden doesn't do that. We do that in like stores, but not in residential units. Weekly must be exhausting. I've known people who've been able to make like weekly videos, but there are people who make like daily videos. Like, how do you even have the energy to do that? Shiny Mia. I'm very shiny. Is your arm alright, and have you found any games to play with your non-dominant hand? Not really. I've been playing for the first couple of days after I broke my arm. I played Hearthstone because I could play with it on my phone with my left hand. But since then, my arm has become like a bit better. Like, I can put my arm like next to the computer, and I can like move it in a very sort of like right angle way, like this. This is hard. This is pain, suffering. But this is okay. And that's basically how you move a mouse. So I've been able to play more video games recently. I haven't tried to play that many video games because I've been also trying to like catch up with work, because I am falling behind. But it also exhausts me really quickly. Because it turns out it takes time to... it causes pain and takes a lot of energy to be in pain. But right, sorry that I'm like frantically going back and forth. Freezing cold in the winter. Yeah. Cringe time cringe people cause cringe times. Cringe times cause Chad people. Chad people cause Chad times. Chad times cause cringe people. Yeah, that's the meme. I remember that I wanted to have that meme in the video, but I can't just have memes in videos. I have to like explain it. If I just put memes in videos, then I become without context, and then I just become a meme collection channel, and that's not what I want to do. People that make daily don't edit them or hire staff of people to edit them. Also, no script. Yeah, those things. Very much true. God, I wish I could. I wish one day in the future that I could hire someone to edit my videos, or or like a research assistant or something like that. But the thing is, I can't because that's hella expensive. And also, I feel like also there's like this measure of like control, like the idea of being a YouTuber, right, is being a YouTuber. Being a YouTuber is very different than being a sort of like production channel or production company. And I feel like people, when people watch my videos, I feel like they want to watch my videos. And if I have someone else edit them, for example, they're not going to be my videos. They're probably going to be better edited because I'm not a very good editor. I'm getting better. But it wouldn't be my editing. And I think a large part of making a YouTube channel is having an online personality and an online sort of shtick, and that people can connect to. And I think that's fine. And I think like people will say that that's like sort of like building parasocial relationships, but it really isn't. It's just like finding your like finding a niche that you like, and just being that niche. Like I make Mia Mulder videos. The people who watch you people who watch my videos, you like Mia Mulder content. At least I hope so. But if I hired, for example, just pulling a name out of a hat, like if I hired like H-Bomber Guy, for example, to edit my videos for me, like even if he wanted to edit them in my style, he couldn't, because like that's there, like he would edit it as a sort of like a mixture between his own style and my style, and then it wouldn't be a Mia Mulder video anymore. It would be something else. If I hired professional editors or like a staff or a scriptwriter or something like that, then I wouldn't be a YouTuber anymore. Then I would just be a person who talks in front of a screen. And there's some authenticity there that YouTube is really good at. YouTube is all about having the perception of authenticity. Yeah, exactly. And people are really good at spotting, like, people are really good at spotting like fake authenticity. Sometimes people don't want it, or sometimes people don't need it, and that's fine. Like there are cooking channels out there that don't have this at all, and that's fine. But my channel has it. My channel definitely has that sort of like flavor of like a little roughness. You know, it's a little rough around the edges, but that's also something that like gives my channel character. So that's. So pretty to look at you. Well, eventually I do need to make a video about modeling, because that could be fun. Like I feel like I want to make a video about beauty. I wanted to make a video about beauty like ages ago, but then a certain other YouTuber called Natalie Wynn made that video, and then it wasn't really a point for me to make it, and I also didn't want to be accused of copying her style. But now it's been a while. I should make a video about fashion modeling. Because it is a vibe. Cringe the Mind Slayer. Meme collection channels have a lot of new views. They do have a lot of views, but they don't have a lot of patrons. What else? All right, let's talk about the month that is coming up, right? So first of all, my video was supposed to come out on the 30th. Not happening. It's going to come out on the 7th, a week after. And after that, the week after that, that weekend, I'm going to have my other streams that I do. But I might move some streams around for next month, because July is, I'm gonna see if I can try to take a little bit of time off, if I can get like a week off or something like that. Just take like a short vacation, going camping somewhere or something. I feel like that could be just good for me. So I might move some streams around for then. I'm probably still gonna post shit on Twitter, but you know, primarily I want to take some time off from an online space generally. But despite that, I will still make a video for July that's gonna come out on the 31st, which would be in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks exactly. Which I think you're gonna like as well. It's a bit of I've been working a little bit on that video for a while as well. It's gonna be a bit shorter, but I still think it's gonna be fun. Yeah. Helps if you have an acting background. Having an acting background as a YouTuber is very helpful. Abigail has done far more acting than I have, but I just like I wouldn't be doing YouTube if I hadn't gone to art school for a year after getting my history degree. Like there's no way that I would be able to do this as a job if I hadn't had some education in it. I never really went professional with my acting because I'm not a very good actor. But you learn things from acting school that are applicable in other fields as well. There is some video out there of me acting in for student theater, which is very fun, but it's also not very good. What else is happening next month? I'm gonna try to, reach out a little bit more for collaborations and things of that nature. I'm gonna do that for this video as well. I was about to do that last week, but then I broke my arm and things had to once you break your arm, you shift priorities a little bit. Sorry that I keep using it as an excuse, but what's it called? I've lost my train of thought entirely. Have I ever been on TV? I think so. I've definitely been on TV, but not in an acting capacity. I've been on TV when I occupied a government building once. I need to make a video on activism. I need to make a video on political activism because, I've done political activism before I did YouTube for a few years. Got arrested a few times, got on TV a few times, and then burnt out. Had a complete just stress burnout because I was also studying my master's in history, and I was still studying and I was working full time. I did way too much stuff at the same time. So I I kind of stopped doing political activism for a bit. I've been wanting to get back into it, but it's very exhausting. It's basically a full-time job, and it doesn't pay fuck all. I remember the video of you singing and being taller than everyone else in the choir. I don't remember that at all. I don't remember having sung ever or being taller than in a choir. I don't remember being in a choir. It may have happened. Oh, I just remember what I was talking about. So yes, priority shifted when I broke my arm. But for my next video coming up, I am also going to see if I can get some other YouTubers to come in and do some voice lines, because that's always fun to do. Because I haven't done that for several months, and I want to do it for two reasons. One, it's fun. It's an opportunity to talk to other YouTubers. And secondly, it's fun for the audience because they get to be like, oh yeah, I know that person. That's fun. It's fun for everyone. And especially because I feel like, especially with COVID, I've been like so socially isolated that like who the fuck do I talk to anymore? I talk to my podcast host because we make a podcast together, and that's basically it. Anyway, what's more pretentious? ContraPoints quoting German philosophers from memory, or me quoting ContraPoints from memory? I don't think any of that is pretentious. Once you're really interested in something, quoting something from memory just is like part and parcel of the entire thing. When I studied, when I did my history degree and wrote my like final degree work, whatever that's called in English, on Rutger Kraft-Ebing and sort of like the early steps of transgender science being established in the field of sexology, I could read like almost pages from Psychopathica Sexualis, and it was really obnoxious, but it's also something that people like understand, like especially in an academic setting or in a pseudo-academic setting like YouTube, because you know you're just like so into your thing, so you like if you read a book cover to cover like dozens and dozens of times, and you have like passages that you've read dozens of times and written about and deconstructed, like eventually you start picking up on them. So I don't think it's really pretentious if you're doing it right. Like if it's for a purpose. I do think it is pretentious when you're in high school, like I would be, and reading like The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins and being like, I'm so smart, ha 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 ha. That is pretentious. But if you have an interest, if you have an academic interest in something, then I think it's fine to know things, and that includes YouTubers. So like, if you're very much interested in a YouTuber, what a YouTuber has to say, and you're making an argument, paraphrasing or citing a YouTuber, if you have an interest and you know it word by word, you may as well use it. That's what I think. That was a really weird answer and long answer for a fun question. Is my broken arm going to impair my plans of overthrowing the Swedish government now that it is in crisis? I don't want to overthrow the government when it's in crisis because I don't want to do it too easy, right? Like when I play video games, I don't have the easy difficulty on. I want to overthrow the government when it's like ready for me, when it's stable. When they've increased the defense budget, that's when I'll strike. How was it studying history in school? After I'm done with gymnasium, I'm thinking of studying history and maybe becoming a history/social studies teacher. I thought studying history was really, really fun. It gives you a perspective on the world that you don't get from other types of academic fields. The only other field where I think you could get it, it's probably from philosophy. I haven't studied philosophy, but I've met people who study philosophy, and I feel like they get to learn about the world in a very similar sense, but it's so much more insular. When you talk about history, most people have a sort of like general understanding about history that you can build upon. So you can talk to like everyday people and be like, so you know how you know how the First World War, for example, led into the Second World War. Well, the Second World War obviously led into the Cold War, and that is where we get like the early foundations of like conflict in the welfare state in the 60s and things of that nature. And most people, you know, they're not gonna know much about epistemology or like the social dialectic of the 1960s. Like most people don't give a shit, but most people do know about the Cold War, and they know that it had implications, and that's something that you can build on. But we still learn like a lot of like philosophical theories, and we still learn a lot about how to analyze history. But history as an academic field is a bit is a type of philosophy, which I think also distinguishes it a little bit from philosophy generally, because philosophy presents you with like 500 different ways of viewing the world, whereas historians are like, no, there's one way of viewing the world, and it's looking to the past. And then they have like sub theories about how to do that, but the overall theme is like, we don't need philosophy. We don't need these like weird highfalutin ideas of how humanity works. We can just look at how we have worked historically and try to learn from that. That's it. So that's sort of that's sort of a fun thing regarding that. And it's sort of like dipping your feet into history, academic history, and like learning things in that field is extraordinarily fun. Like I found an interest in sexology that I had no idea that I liked. And I started reading like medieval German, which I never thought that I would want to do. And I don't think that I would have gotten that in any other academic field. Because it's, it is a very theoretical field, right? But it is also sort of hands-on. Like you get to go to archives and read old books. You get to read the diaries of ancient peoples and see how they saw the world. You get to read letters from ancient people and see how they spoke to each other, how they reacted to the world around them. And that's something that you don't really get from other fields. And it puts you in a unique position to see like why the world is the way it is today. I freaking love history. It doesn't pay well though. There's a reason why I'm on YouTube and not in like a university somewhere. But if you find it fun, if you find the interest fun more than money, then go for it. It's wholeheartedly recommended. It's I love it. I've been thinking about making a video essay on the field I studied, criminology and sociology of law, sort of like you did with yours. Yeah, that's cool. I guess my question is, do you think that could work? 100%. Any pitfalls you made from starting out that I could learn from? Ooh, good question. So, I think probably the biggest pitfall that I went into was thinking that I would have to chase an audience, or thinking that I would have to sort of like force my way to find an audience. In the sense of like I would have to make thumbnails a certain way. I would have to make titles and tags and descriptions a certain way. I would have to watch what I say in videos. But what I've noticed is, what I've noticed is, like, weirdly enough, like I've gotten lucky several times, especially in my early career, where bigger YouTubers have shared my work and introduced me to their audiences, and which, it becomes a snowball effect. Like they share my videos again, new people find it, and that's how you start growing. But for a lot of people, they can do it for years without bigger YouTubers like giving them a sort of like a platform, and which means that you sort of have to start growing your channel like organically a little bit, like just from the algorithm, which is hell. But the point that I'm trying to make here is, I'm rambling a little bit. It's the heat. I've noticed that like when I make a video that tries to chase the audience, or like chase an audience that I don't have, it doesn't really work. Like I may get high view numbers, but they don't really become subscribers. They don't become active in the community. They don't become invested. But when you do make videos that are like authentic to what you want to say, that have heart in them, you're gonna get fewer eyeballs on it. But those people who are there, they're gonna stay. Like I still have the vast majority of the early subscribers that I have today, that I had when I started out, like the first year or something like that. The vast majority of them are still commenting on my videos. They're still in my chat on streams. They're still, some of them are still patrons, because they are like, because you can sort of attract the niche there, and that's sort of what people mean when they say, when you build they will come. I've also met YouTubers who only chase the algorithm, who only chase the audience, don't have that authenticity in them, and they get hundreds of thousands of views for a while. But eventually, you need to start making stuff that stands out from the crowd. But it's in the crowd where the audience is, right? So if you don't do that, you're gonna stagnate. You're just gonna get the algorithm views, but no one's gonna stick around. No one's going to be a dedicated follower. So it's a balance there. Like you need to be open, if that makes sense, to attract another audience. But at the same time, you need to be true to yourself and to your own content as much as you can, because otherwise, it's not going to be sustainable. I think that's probably going to be my best suggestion. Like, because I've seen, and there are obviously like exceptions to all of these. Like you can definitely make a professional living just by chasing the algorithm, just by doing it good enough forever. But the thing is, if you can do that, that's great. But that's hard to do. I've noticed that YouTubers who just stay true to themselves, treat it as a hobby also primarily, because it's hard to make a living out of it. It's extraordinarily hard to make a living out of it. So if you view it as a sort of thing where like, I'm going to do this to make money and become rich, don't. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be exhausting. You're going to burn out. But if you do it as something like, this is fun for me, I'm just doing this to have fun, then you can do it, and then it doesn't matter if you get the views or not. And then you can stay authentic. And then the few followers that you do get, they will stay around. And then if you do get high view numbers, whatever, you're going to have a big, loyal fan base who you've earned, that you haven't like tricked the algorithm into giving you. And you can then convert that into a living if you need to. But that's just a bonus. That's gravy. Whew. Hope that's a good answer. I am so completely out of this. Sorry. So I hope the answer was good, but like, yeah. We want the story in an official video, not just stories in Hangouts. Yeah, I definitely need to make a video on activism, because that's a great story. All your video plans give me that powerful Chaos Goblin energy, which is the best energy. I have a lot of Chaos Goblin energy. You should see when I make my videos. I am powerful Chaos Goblin. Say more about occupying the government building. Okay. There's in Sweden for a while ago there was a legal proposal to like basically reform trans healthcare. And trans healthcare in Sweden has been like archaic and outdated for years, for like decades. It got a big reform in 2013, but that was like a very it was a significant reform, but it wasn't like doing the most. And the mainstream like LGBT activism organizations weren't really doing that much. They didn't really do that much to help trans issues specifically. So me and a bunch of friends, we started something called the Trans Defense, and we started holding demonstrations. We started becoming like angry protesters, and we had created like a list of demands that were like, stop deporting asylum seekers, stop deporting don't have cops at Pride there specifically to deport people, for example. Don't lowering the age lowering the age requirement for trans healthcare, not like HRT or surgeries or anything, but just like lowering the age where people can talk to doctors about it. Like streamlining trans healthcare, things of this nature. We had like that, a list of demands. We did a bunch of protests. We walked around Stockholm. We went to Pride a couple of times, and people really fucking liked it. And one day we decided to sort of like make a big symbolic action where we sort of wanted to maybe force some public hand, where we occupied. Okay, so the story here is we gathered for a protest in Stockholm, and the only people who knew that we were going to occupy a government building there was people like in charge, like of the board. And we gathered a bunch of people there. They thought it was going to be like a normal demonstration, but then we basically said like, hey, we have a bunch of demands. Are you in favor of those demands? And people were like, yeah, we're in favor. And then we basically said that like, okay, do you want to take this to a place in Sweden called Socialstyrelsen, which is like a branch of the government that deals with healthcare and social rights and things of that nature. And they were like, hell yeah. And then we said like, okay, how do you feel about occupying that illegally? And they were like, yeah, sort of. And then we said, okay, let's go. And then we went. And we did it. And they were a bit confused about why we were there. But once they realized that we were there as a sort of like protest action, suddenly the cops showed up. The media showed up, and that's when I was on TV, because Swedish State TV came by and did a short little interview. My phone was blowing up because newspaper wanted to do it. We presented our list of demands to the people there, and we had a sort of like overarching demand, like, hey, we would like a seat at the table. Like, we would want to talk to the government. Basically, we want to talk to Stefan Löfven, basically, the prime minister, and tell him what the deal is. Eventually, we didn't really get anything out of that. But people had a lot of fun. We ordered pizza, we played music, and eventually the cops came by, like in large numbers, with a bunch of paddy wagons, and just dragged us out. Just took us the fuck out. And into the snow, like in the middle of the night. Wasn't that much fun. And for a while we thought that we had sort of failed, but at the same time we had also sort of shown it was more of symbolic action, right? Because we had reached the media, and we got like tons and tons of fan email by like trans people, especially rural trans people in Sweden, who were like, hell yeah, cool to see people like being actively like trans like activists, fighting specifically for trans rights and like doing trans activism. Hell yeah, because a lot of people had felt neglected by the bigger organizations. And after that, we were invited to, like, we thought that it was a bit of a practical failure, but we were invited to the government, actually, to work on a government survey after that. Not a survey, it was like a government investigation thing. So, and we got to work with that. So I don't think my name is there, but the name of the organization is definitely there. And I've talked to like government ministers about trans rights. I think the head of the Socialstyrelsen, that building which we occupied, said like, yeah, we get it. It fucking sucks for trans people. I get why they're protesting. And I think they started suggesting a bit more of a change. The Minister for Democracy, I think Alsba Kuhnke, said that they supported the protest and that we should keep doing it, and that was pretty cool. We went for a couple of more pride parades after that. We tried occupying another building, but then the cops were like that, because cops were on us. They were also, when I went to Pride the year after that, and the year after that actually, for a couple of years after that, still probably, I haven't gone to Pride because of COVID obviously, the cops would follow me around, basically, being like, hey Mia, you planning any demonstration, Mia? Like calling out by name by cops who I don't know, who I've never seen. Just generally intimidating. So, we got a sort of like, we got a seat at the table and we got to do a little bit of help. But it didn't go that well. And eventually I burnt out. There was drama on the board. There was drama like within the organization, not relating to me, but like amongst other members, which sort of like took a lot of the energy out of it. But it also led to the more mainstream like LGBT organizations like trying to take a step up, being a bit more vocal in trans rights, because they noticed that like if they don't do it, other people are gonna make their own organizations to do it for them, and that's that's not a great rap for like one of the bigger LGBT organizations if it's like obvious that they're letting down trans people. So they start taking a bit more initiative. And what else happened? Yeah, I think that's my sort of like, yeah, that's my sort of like brush with activism for a bit. I did stuff before that, like we didn't start out occupying, and we didn't like end directly afterwards, but yeah, because after that I began studying for my master's program in history. I also got a job working in an office, and doing all of those things at once, because I was also modeling at the time as well, completely burnt me out. And if you actually go back to look at my earlier videos on the channel, you can see that I made a couple of videos. I made like 4 or 5 videos, and then there's like a 7-month gap in between videos. Those 7 months are when I burnt out. Like I couldn't do anything. I had to quit my job. I had to quit my master's. I had to, I had to become like a full-time on sick leave because I couldn't do anything. I was completely burnt out. And after that, I started making videos for YouTube, and that became my living because early on in my YouTube career, doing YouTube was something that I could set my own hours. I could do it as much or as little work as I wanted within like how much energy I had. And then that sort of just evolved into becoming my job. Like I didn't intend for it to be my job. I wanted to just build up my work tolerance, but it became my job. And here we are. That's the story of how I occupied a government building. Ow, that fucking hurt my hand. Or it's like Edifice L, specifically, yeah. So anyway, that's the story of how I occupied a government building once. And now, a few years later, everyone's forgotten about it. There's no one in the community that knows who the fuck I am outside of from YouTube spaces. And the government investigation that we participated in, the government didn't care about that anymore. They stopped investigating and haven't done the law proposal. So, a lot of the work we did was sort of for nothing. But we, apparently we did get like tons of emails from younger trans kids who needed a sort of like moral boost. So we did something good. I think. And we also, a lot of the former members went to work for Edifacel and went on to do like a bit more mainstream activism. So, we got a couple of people into activism. We did some local government change as well. We worked for that, but that also some of that also got repealed by Swedish Democrats who are Nazis, so anyway. How did I break my arm? Skating. I went roller skating. We should make a Soviet-style propaganda poster of Mia single-handedly taking over a government building. I'd love that. We were close to 100 people though, so it's not just me. But there are some cool pictures from that event where I do look a little bit like a revolutionary communist leader. How many patrons do I have this day? Oh, I have 550-ish? 540? Let me just check. Yeah, it goes a bit back and forth occasionally, but yeah, like 540-ish. It changes every month, up and down, but yeah. And you were 8th? That's part of what I mean. Like, yeah. Was the 3000? Was the 2013 with the one that took away having to be sterilized? Yeah, exactly. They're transing the activists. How's your summer been so far? It's been warm. It's been okay though. Like it's been okay. I've gotten vaccinated now, fully vaccinated at last. So and that was just a few days ago. So I've yet to sort of do summer activities like in public, cause you know I'm supposed to wait for like a few days after I get my second vaccine before I can do anything, and then I broke my arm. So you know haven't done that much. We have a minister for oligarchy. Cover your face when you occupy buildings. Yeah, I mean, looking back, I probably should have done something like that. But it is what it is. How's Midsummer for me? Good question. I didn't do anything for Midsummer. I laid in bed and slept because of my arm. But my parents have also been... what the fuck about? I completely missed the point what I was talking about. Alright, so my summer has been okay, my midsummer has been okay. I didn't do much because of the arm. My parents celebrated a bit for themselves. But my family hasn't really celebrated midsummer that much as like most people do it. And because of COVID, like I didn't really feel comfortable like arranging a party or anything like that because it's COVID. Like the Delta variant is a present danger still, and most young people still haven't gotten vaccinated here yet. So I didn't feel it was like responsible to do anything like that. So I'm taking this year out from Midsummer. Next year, maybe Midsummer will be a bit more active. You have like 4 100k vid now. Congratulations! Thank you. I was extraordinarily happy when I got my first one after past 100,000, and now I have like 4. My most recent one is like well on its way to becoming it, as are a few others, but things are going well. How many do I have actually? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, and I have like 4 videos that are like 80,000 as well. So I'm doing great. Just search for the pictures, couldn't find them. What I found instead is a picture of me doing the Chad yes meme. Oh, I haven't seen that. Add that to me on Twitter because I do want to see my Chad yes meme. But there are some pictures that I could see if I could post it on Twitter in a few days maybe. Or what I am going to do maybe is I'm going to try to, what's it called? When I make a video on activism, I'm going to include things from there because we also had people who recorded the entire sequence of events, including the arrest. So, it's gonna be that. No ritual psychedelic drugs this year. Well, no ritual murder. But with that said, I think I've said everything, really. I've been streaming for roughly an hour, and that's usually what I want to try to do. So here's what I'm going to do. If you have any questions that you want me to answer really quickly, drop them in chat, and I'll do my best to answer them before the stream is over. Excuse me. I'm just quickly gonna do like my ending spiel where I talk about like what's happening, dates to remember, or whatever. And then I'll return to chat, and then I'll come down. So, my next video is going to be out on the 7th of July. It's a trans video, and it's a video about medicine, so that's gonna be fun. Which ironically is going to include trans broken arm syndrome as part of it, so that's gonna be funny. Can I drop the link in chat? Yeah, go for it. Should be fine. Streams next month are probably going to be like on schedule. I will drop a scheduled timeline, as I always do, for when my streams are going to happen. But some of them might be moved around from their usual times, just because I want to try to take a week off away from a computer. The Mia Scream one from the Aftonbladet is also great. No, I hate that picture. I hate it. It's awful. I hate that picture is public. Awful picture. I hate it. I look like a golem, or like a troll. Anyway, what else? Yeah, I'm still gonna make a video next month on its usual time. The only delay that's happened is arm break for a week, but it's gonna be out when it's gonna be out. Yeah, I think that's all I really can say about it. I don't really know what else I can say. I'm just gonna quickly. Incredibly jealous of you getting the jab. Well, I'm ahead of my age group, and I don't know why. I have no idea why I've been booked for vaccination so early. I no clue. I'm not in a risk group, but like, I have no clue. 80% of my love for Midsummer comes from the Funny Frog song. Yes. Drinking Letta and watching your Hangout kind of chill though. Yeah, Letta. Oh, I wish I had some light beer. Oh, I might buy some from the store. Well, I say light beer, but I'm probably just gonna get. I'm probably just gonna get some cider. Mia Mulder, Sweden's Most Wanted. They for sure have a file on me somewhere though, because sometimes they release like lists of like politically extreme organizations or individuals, or organizations but not individuals. But everyone knows that they have a list of individuals. And on the list of organizations, I know that my organization was listed at least once, but they've also listed like completely innocent organizations as well, just like Palestinian charity organizations as like, to watch for extremism. So they for sure have a file on me somewhere in like the Säkerhetspolisen. Swords, axes, or hammers? Axes. It's axes. The correct answer is always axes. Have you ever made a fantasy transit map? I have not, but I played City Skylines. Can I swing by the Koenigsegg dealership and buy my Regera? I can't afford it. First of all, I can't afford a car, and even if I could afford a car, I can't afford a Koenigsegg. People's beer, yeah. Alright. With that music over, I'm gonna end the stream, I think. Thank you for hanging out very much. It's been a nice little hangout for an hour. What else can I say? I don't know how to end these streams, but it's been a great time hanging out. This month I haven't streamed as much on Twitch as I've been wanting to do. I know that next month I'm maybe gonna try, but we'll see. Like, streaming on Twitch is fun, but I'm also like in the process of moving. It's not gonna happen next month, so I haven't talked much about it here, but I am in the process of moving apartments. So it's kind of hard to find a good time to stream, because I'm like always busy at this point. But we're gonna see how it goes. But yeah, I'm gonna go and drink some water. I'm gonna go and maybe make myself some food, and then, if I get really, really lucky, I am going to maybe record a scene or two tonight. Like, I'm not gonna shoot the entire thing because my arm is hurting too much. But I might set up my camera and like shoot a scene or two for my next video. Or maybe, write a line or a joke that I'm gonna include. outside of the main script, or maybe record a voice line. Maybe, tiny bit of work, just to sort of get me back into working. But I'm not going to exhaust myself, because I'm putting my health before the deadline on this one, and rightly so. With that said, I'm going to see you all next stream, and hopefully on the 7th, when my next video is going to come out. And I hope to see you all there, and hopefully it's going to be a premiere as well, because now I have more time to edit. So assuming that I'm not too slowed down, I'm going to set it up for a premiere, and I hope to see you all there. All right, I'll talk to you in the future. Goodbye.